I want to talk to you from a passage of scripture on today. The name of the message is Lack of Preparation Hinders Progress. Many of us can't advance and move forward because we lack preparation. You know, we're in those seasons where it seems like we're not very busy. I used to be there. So like, man, I wish I was busy. I wish I was doing something. What am I doing? But I had to really understand that sometimes your sitting time is the best time for your preparation.
Yes.
You can't confuse that. So when the time comes when you are constantly running and you're constantly wishing that you had that time of rest, the preparation period is what helps you get through the door. It's how long do you run the marathon?
Yes.
Everybody wants to win a championship, but nobody wants to do the work between, and they call it two-a-days in football, you know, preseason. Nobody wants that. They just want to make the team. You're not obligated. The Most High isn't obligated to just put you on the team.
No.
You have to partner with Him. Then sometimes you have to see how much are you willing to put in, how much you willing to invest. You know, we have these conversations like, yeah, the Most High gonna bless me with a job, but you have to fill out an application. It's not gonna drop out of the sky. There are practical principles and spiritual principles of the Most High. He understands the practical elements in the earth, but also we have to understand that. We can't get so caught up into simply thinking that because we serve Him that we have no part to play in the matter. That's right. He says, listen, disciples, I'm going to make you something. Come with me. Now they had the choice. Come with me and I will make you fishers of men. They were not fishers of men yet.
Right.
They had the attribute. See, your upbringing a lot of the time determine your destiny.
Speak it.
It's upbringing of being fishermen. The Most High prepared them through their upbringing. They know how to fish for fish. But what's in them that they don't know, that He has to make, sculpt, you know, as a potter, sculpting something that they're not yet. Which means that you have to walk with the Most High. Your walk with Him is a point of gradually progressing, not only progressing, but development. The disciples couldn't cast out devils yet until they started walking with Him. They had to grow to a place of making sure that they understood the task at hand. Don't confuse your sitting time with your preparation time. We're going to go to Mark chapter number 9. See, another thing that we have to do too, we have to get into writing. Taking notes. It's very important. These things are important to the Most High. If you're going to be an Israelite, you know, Israelites were scribes. You know, they listened with intent, but they took notes, wrote things down. That's what the scribes was going around doing. Very important that we do that. And now we've been blessed to have phones that we can type. It's a blessing and a curse because of the handicap. Some of y'all don't even carry the Bible no more. We waiting on them to take the Bible, and they already did it. And they put it on the app. All you gotta do is hit one button and it's gone. All the Bible's erased. Mark chapter number 9, we're going to start at verse number 9. Lack of preparation hinders progress. Progress is moving forward, correct? Come on, Matthew 9, 9.
Matthew 9,
I'm sorry, Mark 9, 9. Amplified.
Come on. As they were coming down from the mountain, Yeshua expressly ordered them not to tell anyone what they had seen.
Don't tell anybody. See, I told you. The Most High, He's a private guy. You know, see, y'all like to run and tell what the prophetic word was to everybody. Sometimes it's about keeping your mouth shut. What you've seen is not meant to be told because people ain't going to believe you anyway. They're not. Or they're going to try to pray against what you told them. He said, listen, what you just seen up on the Mount of Transfiguration. I want y'all to understand this. How many disciples was it? 12, right?
12.
How many went up on the mountain with him? 3. So everybody ain't cool with the Most High like that. He has a preference. Seriously, all 12 are His disciples. He could have took all 12 with him, but He chose not to. He took Peter. What was the other 2? James and John. It's how significant. Peter. What was amazing about Peter? No, what was amazing about him? He got the revelation.
He got the revelation.
Right? Of who Yeshua was.
Exactly.
James. Who was James? What's great about James? Have y'all read James' passage, brother? James, his brother. James told you about being respected as a person. That's going to see you there.
Yeah.
Powerful. Loving your brother as yourself. Not being a respected person is powerful because you're going to be dealing with one another. The Most High is serious about covenant.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
John. What's so great about him? He writes Revelation.
Yes.
The only apostle that lived.
Yeah.
All the others died. They were all martyred. But you think you're going to escape. See, the issue is a lot of people going to get to the point where they're going to turn their back on the Most High because when the coming trouble comes, they're going to feel as though he abandoned them because they thought they was going to be raptured out of here. I want to get into that conversation. There will be a rapture, but not how we think it is. Prepare. Every last apostle died. And John only lived to write.
Yes.
That was his purpose. 3 of them. What about Mount Transfiguration? Come on, read.
Do not tell anyone what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead.
Don't tell them until. There's a time frame.
Yes.
There's a time frame to talk, and there's a time to keep your mouth closed. Come on.
Verse 10. So they carefully and faithfully kept the matter to themselves.
Come on.
Discussing and questioning with one another
Yeah.
what it meant to rise from the dead.
What it meant to rise from the dead. They're asking and amongst themselves, what is he talking about? What is he rising from the dead? Same thing like Nicodemus. What, can a man be born twice of his mother? You're telling me all of these priests and all of these Pharisees and all of these Levites who were teaching in the temple never taught the people what born again means? But they taught you how to serve them.
Yes.
Wow.
They teach you how to be born again. You ask people, how are you born again? They can't tell you. Oh, because I'm an Israelite. It's not born again. Nicodemus was an Israelite. He wasn't born again. And he's a master teacher. Yeshua got upset. This is who I left in charge of my people to teach them what being born again is. Forget it. Don't even worry. Don't consider what I said. You're missing it. Now they're arguing about, what is he talking about? Dying and resurrecting. What are you talking about? These are elementary concepts. I mean, born again. Elementary concepts that we should all know. Come on, read.
Verse 11.
Yes.
They asked him, saying, why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?
Why do the scribes say Elijah must come first? Come on.
Before the Messiah comes.
Yes.
Verse 12. He answered them, Elijah does come first and restores and reestablishes all things.
See, the reason why a lot of you can't move forward because you're too busy wanting your Moreh, your leader, your pastor to be like your last pastor.
Ouch.
Say so.
That's your problem.
Say so.
Come on.
You too busy thinking that the ministry that you want to be a part of is the ministry the Most High wants you to be a part of. They say Elijah must come before the Messiah. They think about Elijah, who we talked about yesterday. The same prophet Elijah. Oh, is that he's going to resurrect again, or he's going to be reincarnated and come back again? They're arguing about this foolishness, having discussion about this. And Yeshua says, yeah, Elijah is going to come. But watch how he deals with them. Come on, read.
Okay, first, and then he says, verse 12. He answered them, Elijah does come first and restores and reestablishes all things.
Yes.
And yet, how is it written of the Son of Man that he will suffer many things, grief and physical distress?
So he's talking about Elijah, the spirit of Elijah, not Elijah in flesh.
Right.
He's talking about John the Baptist,
Yeah.
or who we know as Yohanan. He must come first and lay the foundation in the spirit of Elijah.
Hallelujah.
See, that's the difference. It's all about the Ruach. It's all about the spirit. That's what he's trying to get them to understand. You're focusing on the carnal aspect. You choose bad spouses because you're focusing on the carnal aspect.
Come on. Come on.
And then we all get to sit back and watch it. You go through 5 different marriages. It would be real today.
Come on.
Yeah.
Watch you go through 5, and every person that you married, you said the Most High told you he was the one. Now is the Most High schizophrenic?
Is he schizophrenic? Use that term, please.
Is he schizophrenic?
My favorite.
He going through 5, and every time I look around, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Well, come on out, the Most High don't move like that. That's a certain character and an integrity that the Most High functions in.
Yeah.
He don't move like that. Come in the spirit of Elijah.
Yeah.
Boldness, declaring, not looking like everybody else. Come on, read.
But I say to you, verse 13, but I say to you that Elijah has in fact come already.
Look it up.
And they did to him whatever they wished.
Yes.
Just as it is written in scripture of him.
By the Spirit. The Spirit is the one who wrote what would happen. You go back to Malachi, it talks about Elijah, aka John the Baptist. That's what it's talking about. He has already come. This is the reason why I'm teaching. It's because we follow order and protocol, something that we don't want to do.
No.
Talk about it.
He said, John, we must come. So we must do this.
Right.
Order, protocol. John, I can't go out and do my job until you do your job.
Yes.
And we do our job together.
Come on.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. We feel like we don't have to be accountable to nobody. We feel as though we can just do what we want to do, and we don't have to go through the process and the progress of order. And yet you got Yeshua himself said, I don't even speak my own words.
Yeah.
But we too busy. See, that's why we can't progress. That's why we can't move forward.
Come on.
Because our preparation is lacking.
All right.
And oftentimes our preparation is the most simplest things. Simply listening and keeping your mouth closed.
All right.
Following direct. Oh, they don't tell me what to do. I'm a teacher too. I'm anointed too. You didn't see how last week everybody was cheering and clapping for me because I was teaching? So these are the mindsets that we take on. As though the Most High is flattered. You know, that's one of the sins we don't talk about, do we? We talk about every other sin, but we don't talk about flattery. And many of us get caught up in flattering because we're manipulators.
Yeah.
We're manipulators. And then we become the victim because we don't fall for your manipulation.
Talk about it.
Then you want to badmouth the ministry.
Come on.
And badmouth the leader.
Come on.
All because you the problem. And we've been given the level of discernment to recognize witchcraft.
Come on. Right now. Yeah. Show enough.
That's what it is. Manipulation is witchcraft.
Show enough.
We're not playing with you. And if you ain't careful, just as though everybody's cheering for you while you're standing here, you will drop dead too standing here.
That's right. Amen.
Because the Most High will have to make an example. Come on, let's read.
Verse 14.
Yes.
When they came back to the other 9 disciples,
Come on.
they saw a large crowd around them and scribes questioning and arguing with them.
Wait a minute. So you telling me that the other 3 left to go with the Messiah? The other 9 is hanging back, arguing with folks. This makes no sense. This is why we can't leave the ministry in the hands of anybody. He's going off to handle business, kingdom work. He leaves the 9 back. You should be fasting, praying, studying, doing something. No, you're too busy arguing with folks. You can't be trusted. You're spiritually immature. This is the very reason why you can't progress, because you find yourself in a lack of preparation. Come on, read.
Verse 16.
Yes.
Nope, verse 15, sorry. Immediately when the entire crowd saw Yeshua, they were startled and began running up to greet him.
Look at that. So they recognize Yeshua, his authority, his power. They recognize him. Now they know his disciples, but the disciples too busy arguing.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave the argument and run to him. Notice they didn't argue with him. People know who to try. People know who to try. They try some of y'all. You don't even try. And we be thinking, oh, Yeshua, he died. You know, we've been told all this stuff that he's so weak and soft. And we never learned the scriptures about how he went through the temple whooping folks with sticks. Beating folk, calling folk vipers. You know, them cuss words back in them days. Going off. And yet they come to him, approaching him. What is the concern? Come on, read.
Verse 16.
Yes.
He asked them, what are you discussing with them?
What are you talking about? Sometimes he asks rhetorical questions because he be knowing what's going on. He just want to see what you gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you gotta do folk like that just to see what they gonna say. See if they gonna lie to you. What you were doing last night? You know, I passed by the stove. I saw that joke out there. What you were doing last night? Oh man, I was asleep. You watch that show First 48. They be like, they already know what they be like. They be like, where was you last night? Obviously, they don't watch First 48.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I get caught in the jam. Police ain't getting me. I already know. They come in that road, they throw that 30 here. We got 30. We know where you was at. No. As soon as I go in there, I need to get my lawyer. I ain't even talking with you. I know you're trying to trap me. Come on, read.
Verse 17. One of the crowd replied to him, Teacher, I brought you my son possessed with a spirit which makes him unable to speak.
Come on.
Verse 18. And whenever it seizes him, intending to do harm, it throws him down, and he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes stiff. I told your disciples to drive it out, and they could not do it.
I told your disciples, your disciples, not the Pharisees, not the Levites, not the Sadducees, your disciples. All us in here claim we disciples. I brought my son to you because your disciples couldn't do anything. Your disciples like power. It's nothing worse than powerless leaders. Nothing worse than it.
Talk about it.
They run around town. Yeah, we roll with Yeshua. They run around town. Hey, Yeshua, you know, there was some folk on the other side of town. They out there doing kingdom work, but they don't roll with us. These same jokers complaining about other people doing work, and yet they can't do nothing. They say, it's always folks around that talk and run their mouth that don't do nothing.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Come
I'm
on.
tired of y'all, you type of individuals.
Come on.
Want to run your mouth, want to complain, want to talk about what the ministry should be doing,
Come
and
on.
yet we look at your life and your life is nothing going on.
Powerless. Come on.
Hey, what are you doing? You running your mouth on the other side of town. Now it's time. You've been walking with me. Now is the time to perform.
Come on.
See, when it's time to perform, that's when the test is proven. That's when it shows who's really been fasting.
That's right.
See, in this pandemic epidemic, see, it's showing who fasted. It's showing who afraid. See, I tell people all the time, be careful, because we have a lot of people love saying, I die for the Most High.
Boy.
I die for the Most High. You better be careful. Many people are going to get an opportunity to prove it and are going to fail.
Yep.
Because they failed with this situation we in. Now, matter of fact, they've been failed. They failed before the corona. A lot of them failed when they lost their job before the pandemic. A lot of them failed because their spouse left them before the pandemic. A lot of them failed simply because their car stopped working before the pandemic. You know, we find our way to complain about the Most High not with us, all because we go through a little struggle. Going through a little struggle. The pandemic just took it over the top for some of us. I brought my son to you. Because your disciples are supposed to be a direct representation of you. They walk like it, they talk like it, they act like it, but they're powerless. Powerless leaders. Because they lack the preparation. So they could not advance to the next level. Powerless. They can argue, but they can't demonstrate.
Come on. Wow. Come on.
My son is in need. A physician can't fix this. There's some things that the doctor can't fix.
Right.
You need something and someone greater to come to your rescue.
Come on.
I'm in a situation. I need help. My son is in a situation. He needs help. But yet, I know that you are the source.
Yeah.
I was just fooled because I thought the people that roll with you, because the people that claimed your name, I was fooled to think that they had what you had.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Didn't happen.
Unfortunately, my son is going to die. Because this thing, when it sees him, it throws him to the ground. The only time he hits the ground is when it decides to punish him. I need your help.
Yeah.
I'm in desperate need. Come on, read.
Verse 19, he replied, O unbelieving, faithless generation.
Oh, unbelieving, faithless generation.
How long shall I be with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring him to me.
Who is he talking to? He's talking to his disciples.
Yeah.
You faithless generation. He ain't talking to the crowd because they don't believe anyway.